Is it possible to become an overnight success? We're going to tackle this right now on the Unlock Success podcast.
This is the Unlock Success podcast. We're helping entrepreneurs around the world dive deep into the keys you need to shatter excuses, believe in yourself, and help you achieve your highest goals. Here's your host, 8-figure entrepreneur and the living legend of internet marketing, Anthony Morrison.
Hey everybody, what's up? Anthony Morrison here, and welcome to another episode of the Unlock Success podcast, where I give you my completely unfiltered, no BS take on business and entrepreneurship. And today I want to talk to you about a quote that I'm starting to see roll around the internet, and the quote goes a little something like this: "It takes 10 years to become an overnight success." Now, I Googled it to try to find who originally said it, and while I couldn't find who said it first, it seems Jeff Bezos is the one that actually made it popular. Now, the unfortunate thing is that people are getting wrapped up in the whole 10 years thing, right? There's a ton of forums where people are just arguing if it really takes 10 years or if it could be done in less time or if you actually need more time than that. And I mean, honestly, it's hilarious to me because people are completely missing the point of the quote. Right? The point of the saying is that when you see someone become what looks like an overnight success, you have to realize that there's years and years of work that's been done behind that success, right? It's like that image of an iceberg, right? All you see is the tip of the iceberg, but there's so much going on underneath and beneath the surface that you aren't actually seeing. And because it's not easy to see that foundation, when we see someone seemingly pop up out of nowhere with all this success, we think, oh my gosh, they're an overnight success, when in reality, they've been doing the slow and steady, small and boring things for years, right? So today on the podcast, I want to get very practical with you and talk about a few of those slow and steady things that you can do today to help you become an overnight success in the future. All right, so number one, start small and start lean. Look, if you want to be an overnight success, you have to learn how to start small. There was a popular book a few years back, it was called Lean Startup, which taught people how to find the smallest areas of their business that will have the biggest impact. And for me, when I was getting started with my online business, I was literally working on my email list. That was my thing. That was the thing I needed to start with. When my friends were building MySpace pages or trying to find the latest Google ad hack, I was literally just building my email list. So all I cared about was growing that list. And as a result, I saved a ton of money. I saved a ton of time. I saved a ton of stress and failure because I was focused on the one thing that really mattered, right? And look, this is something that applies to any business, whether you're in real estate or you own a restaurant or you're a salesperson. We all know that there are small things that we can be doing right now. And if we focus on those things day in and day out, it will pay off in a major, major way down the road. So don't be afraid to start small. Don't be afraid to start lean, right? I've seen students blow all of their investment on an idea or a strategy that they weren't ready for. And then they were discouraged because they felt like they were so far behind and they weren't successful quickly and they just freaked out, right? It's a terrible thing. Number two, focus on the one thing. Now think about that. This is similar to number one, but it's worth emphasizing. Look, you know you need to start small, right? I've already told you that. But the problem is there are so many small things you can be doing. I see this with my digital marketing students every single week. Because look, it's free to start a Facebook page, a YouTube channel, an Instagram profile, all of these things. And they think they need to create and master all of these things. Look, starting small does not mean doing all the small things. Even if you're committed to starting small, you still need to pick one thing, one area of focus, one challenge to overcome at a time. So let's go back to my internet business. I knew that I wanted to build my email list, so I just picked one method to grow it at a time. And at that time, that method was Google Ads. That was the one method I used to slowly grow my list day in and day out. Now, full disclosure, I rarely use Google Ads now. That's just what was working back then when I first got started. But the point is, I didn't try to learn 100 different methods. I focused on one thing that I could handle and one thing that I could budget my time and my money with and I could master. And I did that over and over and over again. Now, once I had that down, I was able to move on to number three. And number three is this: automate and scale. So many people want to start here, or they think that as soon as they get just a little bit of success, it's time to automate everything. But the reality is automation takes time. Automation isn't some switch you just flip on and boom, everything works without you being there. Trust me, you'll know when it's time to automate. Once I knew that I could leave my Google ads exactly as they were and still grow my list. And then I started exploring things like Facebook and webinars and all that other stuff, right? Because I had found a way to automate the first thing. In fact, if you're on my podcast right now and wondering why it's taken me 15 years to actually post regular content on YouTube or start a podcast, it's because of this very strategy. I do not jump into things blindly. I wait until I know for certain that what I'm doing I can actually run on autopilot and the job will actually get done, right? And then I slowly allow myself to become a master of the next strategy. So let's recap this strategy of how to be a guaranteed overnight success. And by the way, I say guaranteed because as we already mentioned, you'll be putting more time in than just this whole overnight thing, right? Step 1, start small. Start with the things that you can handle and the things that work within your time and your budget, okay? Step 2, start with one thing. Don't go after everything that you can manage to pick your fingers on, right? Like don't just try every single thing. Pick one thing and master it, all right? And then step 3, automate that one thing and then move on to the next. And make sure you do these in the right order or you'll be facing the consequences. Trust me. Look, I see this happen all the time. You know, I talk to my students about this, and I get emails, as you all know. Some of you probably have emailed me, talked to me. I get them all day long. I would say thousands a day of people saying, "Well, Anthony, you know, I'm hooking up this whole automated thing here to do all this stuff for me." And I write them back and I say, "Well, did you ever learn how to do that thing?" And they're like, "Well, no, I'm just automating it all." Well, I mean, why would you automate something you don't know how to do? And their response is always, well, why would I do something I can automate? And I think it's worth mentioning that if you don't know how to actually do the thing that you're automating, you're likely going to set the automation up wrong, right? One prime example of this is email autoresponders, right? So that's a big thing in our business. It doesn't matter what business you're in, you know, these are used, right? Brick and mortar businesses use it, real estate businesses use it, internet businesses use it. It's literally a way to communicate with your email list. But people hear that word autoresponder and they think, wow, I should just start there. Like I should just set up this autoresponder and it'll do all this work for me. But here's the problem. Again, it's like that tip of the iceberg thing, right? It's like you see the autoresponder and you see that people have it set up and you think, oh, that's simple, just do that. You don't see what's gone in, like the foundation underneath it, right? And if you think about it, and once you start to learn, the autoresponder requires you to know at least the basics of email marketing, copywriting. Like what are you going to write in those emails that you're automatically sending out? It requires you to understand the subject lines and how to get more opens, how to get more clicks, all of this stuff. And once you understand all of those things, well, then it's easy to set that autoresponder up and have it go send those emails for you. But all that work you've put into the foundation of it is what makes that automation actually work properly, right? So it's worth mentioning to do these things in order, right? And also, you know, with the internet and social media, it's so easy for us nowadays to be swayed, to be doing this one thing, but we see somebody else doing another thing. And so all of a sudden we got to jump over there because again, you think, wow, this person just popped up out of nowhere. All of a sudden they've got 1 million Instagram followers. That's what I need to be doing. What you don't see is the work that went in before that happened, right? And so nothing is fast. Nothing is easy in business. And that's the whole purpose of this podcast, is to assure you that there are no overnight successes. There's the appearance of an overnight success, kind of like the tip of an iceberg. But when you look below the surface, you'll see years and years of work and strategy and education and time and devotion and effort that's put in to anybody and anything that becomes really successful. And so you need to start today planning for your overnight success in the future. Put in the work, follow these 3 steps. It's very, very simple, and stay focused, right? Key point, as I'm sure you've seen on each one of these, is staying focused. When you say start small, right? It's starting small, finding the things that work within your budget, within your time, and then mastering the one thing, right? So finding that one thing and staying focused on it. and then automating that one thing. Notice that our focus has stayed on that one thing in all 3 steps. And once we've automated that and we've really learned it, mastered it, we move on to the next. In my business, I call this layering, right? I'm just creating additional layers of traffic strategies, income strategies, marketing strategies, and so on and so forth. I don't try to go do it all at once, right? And I think that's the biggest takeaway that you can have from this podcast. So I hope you've learned something here. I hope this kind of puts to rest this whole overnight success thing. It doesn't happen. I don't think it's going to happen for you. I think you got to start now with the right mindset going into this, knowing that it takes a little work, takes a little time, takes a little effort. But if you follow these 3 strategies, you will be on the right path to overnight success in your future. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode of the Unlock Success Podcast, and I do hope you'll join us on the next one coming your way next Thursday.